Hello Twin Flames, and here we are with the next card reading, and we start with the Divine Feminine and this most beautiful card of trust. And here we see this woman who's leaning forward and just letting everything that was behind her go and just moving towards the divine. And of course, trust is a really important part of the twin flame journey, because you need to know, of course, that you're going to be successful, that love is with you, that you're being guided and that you have support. Because with trust, you feel safe, and safety really helps you heal. So learning trust is something we do when we heal with the mirror exercise. We bring in a new relationship with the wounded and hurt parts of ourselves and build that trust, and that trust becomes a foundation for your union. So building trust this week, Divine Feminines, is what helps you navigate forward, move forward and not give up. So that's a really beautiful card to come up. Now let's take a look at the next one. And the next card we have here is Guilt Wounds, and it says feeling sorry, using guilt to manipulate, afraid to set boundaries. And I would add to that guilt really comes from a belief that there might be something you've done that is wrong. And of course we see a child in the image, and really that's reminding us of our innocence, that you can't really do anything wrong when only love is real. You're just a divine child learning and exploring life and yourself. And that really helps you when you bring in that feeling of innocence and love and compassion and forgiveness, of course. You end up being able to heal that feeling of, I've done something wrong. So it could be coming up here because you feel you've done something wrong in your connection with your twin flame, in your past, in your present. And of course, just realize that anything that makes you feel bad is something that you can heal. So peace and love feel solid and grounded and trusting. But any other feeling is really a misalignment that you can heal through. So if you need some help to work on the guilt, then I'd be happy to work with you, or any ascension coach can work with you to resolve those feelings. So now let's move on to the next card. And we have receptive coming up here. And with the two previous cards, this really feels to me like an opening to more love coming into your life. And that means in your inner work, in your inner journey of bringing more love into yourself, you've realized that you need to open up and let love in, that love is a relationship, and that your union is going to reflect your own relationship with love. So if you're feeling guilty or not trusting or unsafe, you're not going to really want to cultivate that relationship. And so this receptive card is really saying that you realize that opening up and allowing yourself to receive, which is what the Divine Feminine does, that's her job, is what's going to help you heal. So have a relationship with love, be loving, and receive love in return through your heart, because it's really source that you're in love with. It's that feeling in your heart, that divine nectar. So open up and let it in and enjoy it right now without anything needing to be different. So now let's move across to the Divine Masculine. And we have, first of all, the Overindulgence card. Lessons of change and balance to manifest temperance or balance. Overeating, greed, overdrinking, debauchery, spending beyond your means or necessity. So overindulgence here, beyond what's written on the card, sure, it can mean excess, distraction, but it can also mean, as we see this man touching his head, too many thoughts, overwhelm, a lot going on mentally. And if you're a sensitive person, you may have explored having autism or ADHD. That's something our community is looking at. And of course, when we have one of those diagnoses, it really means that we need to understand how our mind works, how our processes work. And the divine masculine may or may not be exploring that within himself. He may be exploring how his mind works, which thoughts to pay attention to, which to place a boundary with, because of course you can do that. And it's about really bringing balance into all areas of life: food, your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, spiritual well-being, and really taking care of every aspect of yourself, your finances too. And that is how you build a foundation. And that's what we spoke about with the trust card and the receiving card. Got to get that balance in place, because valuing yourself, masculines, is how you love yourself too. So now let's move to the next card. And we have the Pride card coming up for the masculines here. Afraid to take action for fear of embarrassment or shame, difficulty apologizing. And this really pairs well with the guilt wound card that we saw coming up for the feminine, where there's a deep feeling of perhaps shame or fear that something is wrong, or you are wrong, or admitting that you're wrong might lead you to find out that you're not good enough somehow. So masculines, it's time to really heal that inner wound of shame or embarrassment or humiliation, and allow yourselves to accept that you're innocent, that you're only doing your very best in each moment. Just like the divine feminine is healing this week, and that, that's really where the healing needs to take place this week. And then we'll look at the next card here, and we have the Karmic partner card. And none of us like to see that coming up, of course, in a twin flame connection, but it might just relate to somebody from the past, could be somebody from the present, and it's about what that relationship is pointing to. So why is it there? What is the divine masculine receiving in that relationship or connection, or even in the memories of something or someone? So what is it they're receiving there? What do they think they're getting? It could be things like safety, financial foundation, emotional support, life partnering support in work, purpose. It could just be that that person is familiar in terms of the patterns that the divine masculine has. So abandonment, even abuse patterns, of course, can play out in karmic relationships too. So they're having an experience that's teaching them something about relationship that they're needing to learn. And of course, you don't need to go and convince your twin flame. You just do the inner work, and that is what will heal your union and that connection. So everybody's working on a lot of deep things this week. So now let's have a look at the union cards. And we move to this first card here, which says move, and it's got a great big heart on it. Two hands that have a tie around them. So I think this is called hand fasting, where it's like a marriage card basically. And I think this is the Lovers card from the usual tarot deck. And this is really just pointing to the fact that there's a lot of love. Your divine marriage is intact. Nothing can harm it or change it. And that you're just working a process together of learning how to come together, but you are already one. And then next card we have is the Power card, and we see this lion and this man. So it's strength, and this is about really digging deep this week, because there are some big patterns coming up, and with big patterns comes lots more love, lots of healing, lots of the return of joy and passion into your life. So allow yourselves to dig into divine strength. You don't have to do it on your own. In fact, you can't really. You're going to need support. So reach out and get some support, and realize that everything you need, all the solutions, all the strength you need is already here in your life. You just have to say yes to it. And then the last card is exchanging gifts. And gosh, this could be taken many ways really, and I invite you to feel into your heart to see what this might mean for you. What it feels like this week is valuing yourself. So not only giving to yourself in that way of receiving and reciprocating love, so being in a relationship where you do give to yourself, but it's also about you being a gift and your twin flame too. So maybe it's digging deep into the gift that you are and how and what that means. Maybe you're exploring ADHD and autism and finding out more about your unique design and gifts which those diagnoses bring. There's an extreme gift of creativity and focus that comes with them. And if you are what's called neurotypical or highly sensitive, again, looking at what are the gifts there? What does that mean about me? What gift am I to the world? What is my union's gifts? So both valuing yourselves and also recognizing the gift that you are. So I enjoy the week ahead. If you'd like to come to my free workshops, they're every Friday, and you should find the link in bio. And if you want coaching, of course, just reach out to me, have a look at my details there and book in, and I'd be happy to see you for a free consultation or coaching session. Thank you. Bye for now.